Okay, try this one more time. I am trying to make sure that the Instagram feed is on, and there it is. And now we can begin. I am Coach James. I am the creator of and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force. After we have gone over all of the science topics and conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything that they have learned in the course. Once they have selected their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they weigh their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, all of the information that they can observe. They document that in a spreadsheet, and then after they've done all that, the only thing that's left to do is set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. They race their cars and observe how their cars performed. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything that they have learned in the class? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, all you have to do is visit our website, aerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Aerodynamics, and all of the information you need is in the bio, and we can discuss how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics presents Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. So on Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, we take Hot Wheels cars, sometimes Matchbox cars, and on occasion some other cars from some other manufacturers, but all 1/64 scale die-cast cars, and we put those into the Windsible, which is a 1/64 scale wind tunnel from Funtech Labs. And we put the cars in there, we turn it on, we can see how the air and the smoke flows over, under, and around those cars, and it gives us an idea about the amount of drag these cars are likely to encounter and experience when they are racing on our track. When do they race on the track? Well, every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific at AtTheTrack.live on YouTube and Twitch, we are racing Hot Wheels cars, and we introduce new cars into the fleet, because I mentioned that I bring about 400 different cars for students to choose from during the All About Aerodynamics program, but there are actually 1,000 and what are we up to? 1,024 cars in our fleet. And we add to those because I have cars in storage that have not been cataloged. So every Saturday I go into storage, grab those cars, crack those open, take a picture, get a little video, do a little review. And since the cars are already here, since the track is already set up, we race the cars, have a little tournament. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and you're going to have 3 options. One's the YouTube stream link, the Twitch stream link is the other. The third link is the most important. That's the one that says choose your car. When you select that link, you are taken to this page. And on this page, all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet are listed, and they are ready to be selected by you. All you have to do is find the car that you think would be faster than the cars that I introduce and the cars that other people have picked, and you take the number of that car, drop it in the chat, I pull that car, and then just like that, it's just that simple, you are entered into the tournament, and you can see if your car is faster than the other cars that are going to be racing that day. And this happens every Saturday on YouTube and Twitch, and it is very interesting how and why people choose certain cars. And even with the cars that I introduced, there's cars that we just don't know what to expect from. For example, this one was picked not too long ago, the Scorpedo. And especially with the fantasy cars, it's tough to try and figure out what exactly we're looking at sometimes. We have this car that is in the styled after a scorpion. And how are we supposed to determine and figure out ahead of time how this car is going to perform on the track? It's pretty hard because the design is so unusual. So the best way to find out is to put these cars on the track and see what happens. But what does happen is that over time, we start to see trends. And some of those trends let us know what kind of cars do better on the screen than others. And I am looking for, let's see. And we get to find out exactly, are older cars better? Are newer cars better? Is it all metal cars? Is it plastic on metal? Is it faster than ever wheeled cars? All of those options are things that we're looking at and then we're trying to figure out. So all you have to do is go through, whether it's the Scorpedo, whether it is some other car. It could be, let's see, let's find another one here. Let's pick a random number, 303. If it is car number 303, that would be the, this one, the Super Stinger. Now, if you pick the Super Stinger, which has been picked, Never Ending picked this car, and it's kind of strange because it's not the kind of car that you would immediately think of as being fast. Turns out it was extremely fast, and if I recall correctly, it actually was our fastest in-fleet car. And that is what we call our car that wins the tournament each week. And this was the car. We've had this tank selected. It's been selected twice. The same person who selected the Super Stinger also selected this tank, and I've had a student select it. It is not fast. Now this one, the Tigre, I don't know if it's been selected, but it should be. It looks like the kind of car that would do well on the track. So all you have to do is go through, scroll down, find the car that you think will be faster than whatever cars we introduce, and you'll be in the tournament, and you will have the opportunity to take on our fastest in-fleet car. And our fastest in-fleet car, our current fastest in-fleet car, is this one. It is, once again, the BlitzSpeeder. Christopher brought this one back, and we know what the BlitzSpeeder can do, and the BlitzSpeeder picked up right where it left off, and it is now our fastest in-fleet car again. Hey, rough shot, Christopher Virgo. Yeah, he brought this car back, and it's been the most dominant car we've ever raced on the track, but it's also been beaten a few times. So it's not completely invincible, but if there's a car that is invincible, this one's pretty close because it's just so dominant. And if you want to see what the BlitzSpeeder can do on the track, all you have to do is go to our YouTube page, click on the live tab, and all of the episodes are there. The benefit to watching the episodes after the fact is that there are time codes, so you get to jump around the episodes to whatever part it is that you are looking for, that you want to see. So there's that. But the BlitzSpeeder is our fastest in-fleet car. And because it's our fastest in-fleet car, it always has the honor, the fastest in-fleet car has the honor of going into the wind tunnel first. So we are going to put the BlitzSpeeder in the wind tunnel. And we are going to see why this car it's not only one of the fastest cars that we've ever had on the track. It also has the best aerodynamic profile we've had of any car on the track, except for one that we had last week. This Porsche Panamera that Roughshod picked had an amazing aerodynamic profile, but it didn't do so well on the track, which it just goes to show that what we see in the wind tunnel, and we're starting off at our cruising speed of 67 miles per hour, what we see in the wind tunnel is only part of the story. It does give us some information that we can use to kind of help us determine how we think a car is going to perform on the track, but it's not the only piece of information. And so that car, that Porsche, it had a fantastic aerodynamic profile, but it didn't do so well on the track. So there's other factors that come into play. But if we're just talking about right now, the BlitzSpeeder, we can look at this car and we can see right away why it is one of our fastest cars, because it's able to reduce the impact of drag. This is at 121 miles per hour, pushing this up to 134 miles per hour. And if you look at this first stream of smoke, it's coming in, it's hitting the front of the car, and then it's following right up over the hood to the windshield, to the roof line, across the back to this wing, and then off. There is not a disruption of the airflow. And even if I turn this up some more, the air is following along the lines of the body. Now this stream is coming out a little strange. It's not as solid as these others, but the airflow still is flowing right across the body of the car. And when we put some other cars in here, we're going to see that that's not the case, that the cars are actually shaped and designed in a way that they're actually disrupting the airflow. Now the real cars don't, but the Hot Wheels versions do. Up to 161 miles per hour. And again, this is kind of ideal. And what you want is a car that's going to reduce the impact of drag, and that means that it's going to maintain more of its speed for longer going down the track. So that is what you want to see out of a car. And if you can match that, then you've got a good start at a car that can possibly take on and beat the BlitzSpeeder, which has been extremely tough to do. And last week, the cars that we raced, they were not able to beat the BlitzSpeeder, which is why it's sitting here right now. But we had a couple of interesting cars in the mix. The most interesting and the most unique was this one, and this is the one that I'm looking forward to seeing in the wind tunnel. It's this Troll car, and the Troll car, I give it credit because it was better than Grogu, which is a low bar, but nevertheless it was. And because it was better than Grogu, that means it actually finished the race, but it didn't win. I am curious to see this in the wind tunnel, to see exactly how the hair on the top of this car impacts it in the wind tunnel. And the wind tunnel, it's not going to be able to, the wind tunnel isn't tall enough to stand the hair straight up, but it will be impacted one way or the other. So let's go ahead and take a look, because this car already has this big frontal area there. So that's a negative. Even without the hair, this would be a negative, this huge frontal area. But let's go ahead and put this in the wind tunnel and see what we get. This Troll car. Switch over to the wind tunnel. Take a look here. This car is determined. I was hoping to be able to keep it in there without putting anything beneath it, just because that it's already a pretty tall car. But if it's not going to stay put, then I need to make some little adjustments here. And I actually need to back the camera up just a little bit. Let me adjust it up just slightly. And get that, let's get this changed out here. All right, let's see what we get. Let me need to try and adjust this white balance, because that is definitely, there we go. All right, let's see what we get from this. What our cruising speed of 106, or I'm sorry, at 167, at 67 miles per hour. I'm trying to adjust this because this is clearly a little blown out, the picture. And let's reset this. Let's zoom. Let's get the zoom. Zoom on in. And this ISO. Bring this down. There we go. That's the adjustment we need. All right, so we can already see that air is hitting the face of this car, climbing up, and then the hair is just blocking the air almost completely. I don't know if the air is moving around it. We can take a look, but you just see all of the extreme turbulence that's taking place behind this car. And that is not what you want to see. Let's take a look up top. You can definitely see that the air is flowing around the body, but I think a better view of what's happening is right here, because this is at 94 miles per hour. Let's push it up. It's up to 121, and you just see that, I mean, this is an extreme example, but how the air comes and hits this frontal area and it's rising up. Without the hair, then the air would flow across the roof line and then still probably break off from following along the lines of the body. But that's where it would go. But because the hair is there, now this air has to climb up. It has another obstacle, and it has to come up. And I'm sure some of the air is passing through the hair. Some of it is going around and it's being pushed up, but it's just disrupting the airflow. And this is absolutely what you don't want to see. But of course, this is an extreme example. And I think that this is not a car that is likely to be picked. I think the only way this car ever gets picked again is if I have a student who just loves those troll figures, and that's really the only way or reason this should ever be picked. But you got to put these kind of cars in there just to sort of change things up. Every car can't be a Lamborghini or a Porsche or something like that. So we are going to take a look at this one. Let's see, rough shot 313 and 467. Those are the cars rough shot's gonna put in. So I'm gonna just grab those right now. 313 and 467. So let's go ahead and take a look at, and hey, right on cue, the Windsible just turns off on its own sometimes, and I guess it had enough of the troll car. So let's go ahead and take a look. So the first car that the Rough Shot's considering is pretty standard as far as these cars go. The Alpine A110, and yeah, nothing really out of the ordinary about this. It's a kind of standard little coupe. It's a nice looking car. I like the paint job, the wheel combination. I like the fact that they put some details in, which includes the license plate and the tail light paint on that. I like that effect. And this is the car that's going into the wind tunnel. Not much to say about this one. It's got a kind of rounded out back end, but not so much that it won't have plenty of surface area pressed up against the launching block. It is oh, they even did the headlights. I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with this car. So let's go ahead and throw it in the wind tunnel and see what we see, because that is probably where we're going to get a little bit more information. Kind of standard. Definitely gives me kind of Porsche or maybe Toyota Supra vibes, something like that. Not really sure. I think this is one of those cars that strikes me as just like a solid pick. Here we go. .67 miles per hour, and we see that airflow. 67 miles per hour is not really all that fast, and therefore we don't really get much information at that speed. But we turn it up to 107 miles per hour, and now we're starting to see a little something. And one of the things I'm noticing is the air, it hits the hood of the car, comes up to the windshield, it moves up to the roof line, and then right about the back of the roof line, some of the air is trailing down the body of the car, and then some of it is breaking off. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we turn the speed up, because drag has more impact the faster a car moves through the air. And you see that separation getting really defined right here. So it means that the airflow is not continuing to follow along the lines of the body of the car. It's breaking away. And at the point where it breaks away, that is going to create a pressure differential, lower pressure, and it's going to create pressure drag that is going to work against the forward momentum of the car. And that is not ideally what you want. Let me see if I can turn this. Try and turn the wind tunnel a bit so not get less reflection in there. But yeah, this is what we're seeing, and that's at 134 miles per hour. Let's turn it up. And at 161 miles per hour, that just grows. And the thing is that drag increases with speed. So the faster an object's moving through the air, the more drag has an impact. And our track, we have designed it specifically to generate the maximum amount of the launcher. I designed it to generate the maximum amount of force, and that ends up with the cars moving a lot faster. And because they move so fast, drag becomes pretty much the most important force that's working against these cars and their forward momentum. So that is why this is it's a good thing to put these cars in the wind tunnel, because it doesn't tell the whole story, but it tells us a lot. And so with this car, unlike with the BlitzSpeeder, this that airflow is breaking away. This car is going to encounter more drag. Now, the real car probably doesn't have that problem, because the Hot Wheels cars are not exact. They're not exact to the specifications of the real cars, and we've seen that in a lot of cases, but a lot of the things that the real cars have to control the airflow, Hot Wheels cars just don't have. And so, we get what we get, which is why we put these into the wind tunnel and why we get some interesting results from time to time. Now, this car is pretty standard, pretty safe, pretty solid, like a good solid pick. The other car he's considering is the total opposite. So I see the kind of trend. It's like pick one car that's kind of a little more standard, and then there is this one that I've forgotten the name of. This is the Chevrolet Tour. If you take Chevrolet and put an OR on the end, Chevrolet. Whatever it is, it's cool. Absolutely unique. And this is the kind of car that you look at and you think, yeah, that should do very well on the track. There's not anything on the top side of the car to really impede the airflow. The back end is flat and wide, so that'll press right up against the launching block. It looks like faster than ever wheels, but those might just be regular 5-spoke wheels. But either way, let's put this car in the wind tunnel and see what we see. Should be interesting. The Chevrolet Tour, I don't know. If it wins on Saturday, well, if Roughshod picks it, and if it wins on Saturday, I will have to see if I can look up some videos or something where someone actually pronounces the name to know if I'm saying it correctly or not. But this is what we've got, the Chevrolet. And let's go ahead and fire this up, see what we see. At 67 miles per hour. No surprise there that air is passing right over the top. And let's go ahead and turn this up. Air is still just flowing right over the top. I mean, there's not really anything. I mean, it's pretty clear that we are looking at if you think about the slide kick, the Formula Solar, those cars that just didn't have anything on the top side to interrupt the airflow, we're up to 134, 147 miles per hour, and there's really just no, I mean, whether we turn this up or turn it down, we're pretty much seeing the same thing, with the airflow passing right over the top of the car, passing right underneath. And with the underneath portion, all of these Hot Wheels cars are flat. Some of them have a little bumps for like the transmission or whatever, but for the most part they're flat underneath. So the fact that magnet is down there, it disrupts the airflow, so we don't get an exact picture, an idea of what's happening below the car. But it doesn't really matter, because all the cars, all those parts are pretty much equal. so we don't have to worry. So this is the Chevrolator, and we will see what exactly this one can do, if it is the one that Roughshod selects. So it'll be interesting. He's either going to go with this one, the wild design, or he is going to go with the more conventional, that Alpine A110. So we're going to find out what he's picking. Christopher has a couple of cars he's thinking about. I pulled the Lamborghini that you're interested in, which is this one. And Roughshod is confirmed. He's going with the Chevrolator, whatever it's called. If it wins, I'll have to, put some respect on its name and go and find it. This is the Lamborghini Centenario that Christopher is checking out, one of the cars he's considering. Now, Christopher, the other one that you mentioned, the Lotus Emira, I am looking at the spreadsheet, and I don't have that. I have a Lotus Avija, which we just had like last week. I have a Lotus Concept, a Lotus Cortina, a Lotus Esprit with faster than ever wheels, and the Lotus Avija. I have 3 Lotus Project M250s, a Lotus Sport Elise, and that is it. So either I don't have that car, or the name that you have there is not correct. So could be one or the other. But let's take a look at this Lamborghini Centenario. This is a popular pick among students. Lamborghinis typically are, because if you're a little kid and you're not really into cars, but you kind of know about cars, and somebody just asks you to name a fast car, an expensive car, a cool car, they'll say Lamborghinis, sometimes Ferraris, Bugattis, the ones that like to think they're being funny, like to say Hellcats, but which are fast cars, but they just like saying the word. But Lamborghinis tend to get selected quite often, and this is one that has been picked. It's a solid pick. Now, I don't think we've put this in the wind tunnel before, and I'll be interested to see what happens with this open area here, because it is this convertible top. So what is going to happen when that airflow comes up over the top? Is it going to enter that area and work against this car's forward momentum? Who knows? But let's go ahead and put it into the wind tunnel and see what happens. Yeah, I can pull the Lotus Esprit. Do you want the Lotus Esprit with the faster than ever wheels, or do you want the standard Lotus Esprit mainline car? All right, so we get this Lamborghini locked in here, and line it up. And by the way, I hope I've got relatives down in Georgia. I hope that winter storm, is it passing through? Is it almost over? Hopefully, obviously your power is on. So I guess that's the important part. But hopefully everybody is staying warm and well supplied down there. All right, here we go. The Lamborghini Centenario. Let's go ahead. I want to see if that air drops down. So it's 67 miles per hour. We're seeing the air. We can see it passing over the top of the cabin. Some of it's kind of filtering in. It's definitely filtering in, because I saw this area get a little cloudy as that air started to pass over. which means some of that air is going in there. And you might be able to see. You can see right there. If you look like right in the where the seats are, you can see that air kind of swirling around. There's a little bit of, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I'm sitting here just looking at the cars. Thank you for reminding me to switch the view. So if we look right there where the seats are, you can see the air kind of swirling around. It's not going in the same direction. It's that turbulent air, and it's just swirling around, which means that the air is coming up over the top, and that it is going into the driver's cockpit area. So if I turn this up, we're going to see if that gets a little more defined. Right here. Let's see. You're not seeing the wind tunnel. Let me double check. No, I'm looking. I've switched it over, aren't you? Just let me know, or if you're seeing the Lamborghini and the wind tunnel. Because I'm looking at the Instagram feed and it's up, so I think yeah, I was a little late in switching it over, but it's switched over now, so you should be seeing it. So I think with this one, if it had a roof, this air would just be flying, sliding right across the roof and across the back. But you can definitely see that air. You can see it right there, just swirling around, and it is. The question is, how much is that going to impact this car's performance? We're at 107 miles per hour. Let's turn this up significantly. We're going up to 147. So now at 147 miles per hour, we're seeing the air kind of break away, flow over the top of the car. And so how much is flowing inside? Like, you can still see it swirling around just a bit, but definitely not as much as we could see it when it was at the lower speed. So we are looking at an interesting choice here, because now when we push this up to 161 miles per hour, it is now, that air just seems to be flowing right up over the top of the car, and it's somewhat detached, but when we look at this curve here, we can see that it's coming back down. There's a slight curve down, which suggests that it's still following the lines of the car, but it's not attached to the body in the same way that the BlitzSpeeder. If you remember the BlitzSpeeder, that airflow, it stays tight and close to the body of the car all the way down. We don't have these big separation, this big gap with the BlitzSpeeder. So this is kind of an interesting pick, and this is at 161 miles per hour, and this is one of the cars that possibly Christopher is going to select. The other is, let me grab it, 657. That other car is, bring this down a little bit. Yes, I have. I have a Lotus Sport Elise. Um, the Amira, no, but I do have the Lotus Sport Elise. Is car number 598. This is that's the Lotus Esprit with the faster than ever wheels. And I don't, it's funny because I don't think, what number is this? 204? I don't think this car has ever raced on the track. So that would be a first if you were to pick this car. It would be the first time that this car has ever hit the track. It is the Lotus Esprit, the faster than ever wheels. So you can go with this, or if you want to try the Lotus Sport Elise, just let me know. This one, pretty standard looking car. Those faster than ever wheels, in theory, I believe with the faster than ever wheels, I know the Gold Hot ones have this, but also the faster than ever wheels, what makes them faster than ever is that the axles are nickel plated, which reduces the amount of friction and allows the wheels to spin more freely because there's less friction, and that should help it in a race. So do you want to go with this one, or do you want to go with the Sport Elise? I think if I had to pick, I kind of know. I mean, I don't even remember what the Sport Elise looks like, but the faster than ever wheels, I'd probably go with this. But hey, it is up to you, and we are gonna see what you go with. But we're gonna go ahead and put this one in the wind tunnel right now, anyway. And this time, I will actually remember to switch the camera view over. So let's switch that over now and go here, and we will put this one in, and it might not need, as long as it doesn't roll forward, I can always use it without the magnets. And well, let me ask you, is that Lotus Amira, is that like a current car, or is that an older car? Because one of the things is that if it's an older car, there's a good chance that I have it in storage and I just haven't pulled it out yet, which is, one of the reasons why I should be going into storage. But then every time I go into a Target or a Walmart or a grocery store, I'm looking at the Hot Wheels cars, and I'll pick up a car knowing that I should be just kind of working through the ones I have in storage. So if it's not like a brand new car that I can guarantee that I haven't seen, then you can hold off on sending it. I appreciate that, but you can hold off on that because I probably, if it was a mainline car, I probably have it in storage, so I wouldn't want to have a duplicate. Now with this one, this is at 94 miles per hour, and we see the air is hitting that front, coming up over the hood, the windshield, the roof line, and then it's coming across the roof line and interacting with that wing in the back. Let's go ahead and turn this up and see if that continues, because that is what ideally you would want to happen. This is at 147 miles per hour, and I like, oh well, now the Windsible has decided it's not gonna take a look, but guess what, we are turning this right back up. And we are going to see what we can see. All right, what were we at? We're up to 121, 134 miles per hour, and 147. And this is good. Now, unlike that Lamborghini, you can see that this airflow is not breaking, it's not separating from the body of the car. Even after it comes up to the roof line, it's coming across, and then right where it would break away, it's coming across and then hitting the wing, and some of it's going under, some of it's going over. Now, this is the part that I always mention about Hot Wheels cars, is that the wings are not exactly designed the same way the real wings are. The real wings on cars are designed to create downforce, to press down and keep the tires on the ground. And if they're designed the other way, then they create lift, which is airplane wings, and that would lift the car up. Hot Wheels wings, because they're not designed very specifically, they just seem to be the same width across. There's just not really much advantage, I think, that I've been able to determine with the wings. Hey, how's it going? Never ending, long time. We were just we were talking about some of your earlier picks that kind of those out of the box picks that turned out to be really fast. So right now we're at a 147, and I think that Christopher has said he is going with this one. And that seems like a good choice, because I love that aerodynamic profile, and I think that that's a solid pick. So we are going to slow this down and take this down. Is that Caitlin? Hey, how you doing? Let's see. We had this car in, let me switch over. This car we raced on Saturday, and it did okay, but there's a lot of things going on with this car. It's got the really wide splitter in the front, the diffuser in the back. It sits low, very low, which is good, because then that forces the air over the top of the car. It's got that wing at the back. It's got all kinds of just things that maybe it's got a little too much going on, but it's a cool looking car. Let's go ahead and drop it in. This is the LB Super Silhouette Nissan Silvia, and we're going to go ahead, switch over. I will remember this time to switch over. And we can see, I mean, it's a little tough because it's a black car on that black background, but you can see how low it sits. And because it sits so low, it is, I mean, that's actually good. But what we found, and it's got that giant splitter at the front, is that some of these cars, the Hot Wheels versions, don't have the openings that other cars do, the real world cars. So they can't direct the airflow. So sometimes when they have that giant splitter and a big grill, the real cars have openings to allow the air to flow through. These Hot Wheels cars, not necessarily. And when that air gets trapped, it's going to increase drag. So now let's see. We are looking at this one. We're seeing a lot. This is at 94 miles per hour, pushing it up to 121. And we're kind of seeing something similar to what we saw with the Lotus, where that air is hitting the front, coming up across the hood, to the windshield, to the roof line. And then when it gets to the back of the roof line, it breaks away. It's not following down, but it comes straight across and then hits that wing and then interacts with the wing. This is pretty much exactly what we just saw with the Lotus. And as we push this up to 134, we're seeing more turbulence right in this area. But for the most part, this is a pretty good situation, aerodynamically speaking. And yeah, we are not seeing anything that makes me think this would be a bad pick. And you can kind of see a little more of that turbulence towards the back. So anytime you see that kind of turbulent air, there is going to be more drag. With the Chevrolet Tour that Roughshod picked, we didn't really see that. With the BlitzSpeeder, you see none of that. With that Porsche from last week, we didn't see that. But it's not a guarantee, because that Porsche was not as fast as I thought it probably would have been, given the aerodynamic profile. This car was fine, if I remember, but it didn't win. It didn't win the race. I don't remember if it was this car or the El Segundo Coupe that made it to the finals, but or matter of fact, I think it may have been that Lotus that made it to the finals. Either way, this is a car that has a good aerodynamic profile, but just didn't get it done on the track. And I think as I turn the speed down here, I think part of the issue is something we're about to test, which is that splitter. You can see how big it is. It's a little tough to see right there, but I am thinking this is going to be something where the air hits that and gets blocked. Let's see. 967 is the one that Caitlin's looking at. Let me push this up. So now that I've raised the car up a bit so that the air hits right at the front, you can really see as the air kind of stacks up how big that frontal area is. And as I push this up, let's see, I'll grab those cars. So let's see, 967 and 853. Let me grab those, 967 and 853. 967 is, okay, 967. And let's see, 853. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Caitlin's pick, which is the car that we raced not too long ago. As I wind this down, it is this one. It is the coffee cup Instant Boost. This is that kind of Starbucks coffee cup car that let me see, Instant Boost. And we're going to go ahead and throw this into the wind tunnel. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's one of those cars that the design is so unique that it's hard to really be sure or get a solid idea of how it's going to perform based on just everything it's got going on. and how it doesn't really, it's very unconventional. And we're going to see. I think if I remember correctly when we had this in the wind tunnel the last time, the bottom of the cup basically had frontal area. It really does. There we go. We're at 94 miles per hour. Pushing this up. And, oh, let me switch the camera. Switching the camera. There we go. All right, let's see. We are going right here. Pushing this up. And there is this big frontal area. That air is hitting right there, and then it has to go over. Some of it's going around. And if you get beyond that, then it's not too bad. Pushing this up to 161. And there's a lot going on right here in the front. This is where that air is hitting. This is the main problem I see that this car might run into, is that the air is just stacking up here in the front, coming up over the top, and then once it comes over the top, then, you know, it's not so bad. Let's see if there's anything we can see from this view. And not really. I mean, nothing that's really giving us more information. Right there. And then there's a lot of turbulence at the back end, but that's not the biggest concern. So there we go. We've got the instant boost. We're going to see this one on the track again. I don't remember how it performed the last time, but it was definitely an interesting pick, and it's one of the newer cars that we've had. And now, Never Ending, he is going with. It looks like he may have another one here that we might be talking about Saturday afternoon as a fastest in fleet car. This one's interesting, the BlitzSpeeder. And this is one that I found it's a treasure hunt edition, which it's not a super treasure hunt, so there's nothing fundamentally different about the car. It's just got a little treasure hunt insignia on it. But just like with that Lamborghini that Christopher was considering, this one's open right here. And we're going to see, but it's also open under here. So this car has pretty much these wide open spaces. Now, can the air come through the front and then flow through here? Let's see. Yes. So if we look under here, the air is going to be able to flow right in there and then come through into the body of the car and either escape out here or flow right through the back around the wheels. So let's go ahead and throw this in the wind tunnel and see what we get. I'd be curious to see how that air flows through this car, because that's some of the issues that some of these Hot Wheels cars have, is that the fronts are sealed up and there's nowhere for that air to go. So it just stacks up at the front and ultimately slows the cars down. Let's see what happens here. 67 miles per hour, cruising speed. And there's nothing really interrupting the airflow. And unlike with the Lamborghini, which had the driver's compartment sealed up, this one, if the air that does flow into the driver's cabin can flow right out the bottom because there's nothing there. Let's go ahead and push this up. pushing this all the way up to 121 miles per hour. You can see some of the air that's flowing out of. So right here, this air here is air that is coming from this part. So it's coming in this way, passing past the wheel, and then flowing out right there. And you can kind of see, if I can get a, like right there, you can see that's where it's coming out. Air is coming in the front, passing through, and then flowing out. So that is very cool. Going to push this up a little bit more, up to 147 miles per hour. Yeah, the back end is it's not wide, but it is flat, and I think that will definitely, you know, play well against the launching block. There is nothing, like the airflow is not being disrupted. A little bit here, we are seeing that where that air is flowing in, and it's coming out of this top, the driver's area through there and through the bottom. But again, the air is able to just pass and flow through. So this is interesting. I think that this is going to be a car that on Saturday, if we're just looking at the cars that we've looked at today, I'm not sure what that Chevrolet is going to do. That seems like another car that should have a really good shot. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the finals on Saturday, just looking at these cars, and we're up to 161 miles per hour, if we see the Chevrolet and this WindSpeeder as the two cars that are locked in. But then there's also that Lotus with the faster than ever wheels, and you can't not count out those cars just because friction is one of the forces that you're trying to reduce the impact of. And the best way, usually we talk about that in terms of the cars pressing up and rubbing against the side of the track, friction that way, the wheels rubbing up against the track. But in the case of with the faster than ever wheels, we're talking about the axles of the cars and whether or not those are going to be, the wheels are going to spin a little more freely. That could make the difference. So we already have a good race lineup set up for Saturday. We are looking good. We've got the Lotus with the faster than ever wheels. We've got this Hot Wheels, the WindSpeeder, the Chevrolet. We've got the coffee cup car here, and the what's it called? For Instant Boost. We've got this one getting a second shot. I forget how it did, but regardless of how it did, it's getting another shot on Saturday. Plus, I'm going to go into storage. I'm going to pull out some cars, and we'll have a full lineup. We'll have some races. We will be raising our total up to 1,000. We're probably going to hit a 1,030, depending on how many cars we introduce on Saturday. I'm also going to be making some adjustments to the search page on the website. I'm going to break it up so that there are only about 200 cars per page, which should make it easier for someone scrolling through. They don't have to wait for all of those things to load. And it may help me. I've been trying to create an app to work around the problem that we're having with Squarespace not having a search function. So there may be some little changes to the search page, but otherwise we're up to 1,024 cars and counting into the fleet, and it's just going to keep going. If you want some more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, I mentioned, just go to our website, aerodynamics.com. Saturday, AtTheTrack.live, 11 a.m. Pacific, live on YouTube and Twitch, and every Wednesday, Wind Tunnel Wednesday, here on Instagram and YouTube and Twitch. and that is what we have. So, yeah, looking forward to Saturday, and we're going to have some good races, and until then, I will see you at the races.